Morning, my friends. I'm Pastor Ben Hayes from First Baptist Church, Dadeville, Alabama, bringing you our thought for the day on a magnificent cold Monday. But God is good, and He's got a plan for you today. I hope that you will seek it out and follow Him in all that He commands. But right now, join me in 1 Corinthians chapter 9. Let's back up to verse 3 because Paul is defending his apostleship once again. It seems like every letter he writes, he has to tell them, look, I'm an apostle of Jesus Christ because I've been called by Him, and he goes into all of that detail. But what is coming up now is the fact that Paul, through much of his ministry, served as a tent maker. That's how he paid his expenses. That's how he made his living. And in the evenings, he would do the preaching and the teaching and the growing of the church, while other apostles were being taken care of by the churches where they were serving, like James in the church at Jerusalem and others that were serving. And Paul was just bringing to them a very important truth that applies even today. Look what he says. Verse 3, my defense to those who examine me is this. Do we have no right to eat and drink? Do we have no right to take along a believing wife, as do also the other apostles, the brothers of the Lord, and Cephas? Or is it only Barnabas and I who have no right to refrain from working? Whoever goes to war at his own expense, who plants a vineyard and does not eat of its fruit, or who tends a flock and does not drink of the milk of the flock. Now, all of these are great illustrations, analogies that Paul uses to help us to understand what he's trying to get across here. These other apostles are taken care of. They take their wives on their travel. They're taken care of as well. And apparently, Paul and Barnabas have been criticized because of wanting that to happen or asking for that. I don't know if they asked for it or if somebody else asked for it. You know, a lot of times people love the pastor. They want to take care of him, so they make the request of finance committees, and of course everybody assumes it's coming from the pastor himself. And I got to tell you, there's not a pastor that I know that has ever asked for a raise. Now, maybe I just don't know about that, but most pastors are not in it for the money. Okay, just put that out there. But here's the principle. If the pastor is serving the church should take care of the pastor and his family. Now, I know that there are small churches that cannot afford to pay full-time salaries. All right, I get that. And so we have a lot of pastors, and I really believe the wave of the future in the Southern Baptist Convention and in other denominations is that we will have a majority of co-vocational pastors. We used to call them bivocational, meaning they had another job supporting their families and then they ministered in the church. Can I tell you, co-vocational pastors are heroes. They do a 40-hour work week or more in their job, and then they do the same thing in their churches. They still go visiting. They still go to the hospitals. They still have to prepare sermons. They work hard, and they deserve to be taken care of. So if you're a member of a small church, make sure you take care of your pastor. If the church cannot afford to pay a full-time salary, could you think of other ways that maybe you could help your pastor? I mean, provide him a vehicle. Cover his ministry expenses. Give him a love offering more than just at pastor appreciation. But find a way to take care of your pastor. Paul makes it clear. Nobody goes to war at his own expense. You know, even our soldiers get paid. Who plants a vineyard and does not eat of its fruit? Even the vine workers, the slaves could glean as they worked. Who tends a flock and does not drink of the milk of the flock? Those who work are taken care of in the way that they work. Now, Paul makes this clear, verse 8. Do I say these things as a mere man? Or does not the law say the same also? Talking about the law of Moses. For it is written in the law of Moses, you shall not muzzle an ox while it treads out the grain. Well, see, what happened was, in the old days, as the oxen would take and go round in circles to make the mill go round, to grind the grain, a lot of that grain would end up on the ground. And the oxen would just bend down and he would take a bite of that grain as he was working. And it was a law that you couldn't muzzle the ox to keep him from doing that. He was allowed to do that. What Paul is saying is don't muzzle your pastor while he's preaching. Actually, what he's saying is pay the preacher. Take care of him. Take care of him. And he goes on. He says, is it oxen God is concerned about, or does he say it all together for our sakes? He's talking to us as people. Look, my church takes great care of me and our staff ministers. They really do. But there's some churches who have this philosophy, you keep him humble and we'll keep him poor. Sad. Think about that today. Take care of your pastor. Even if it's just a phone call to say, hey, you're doing a great job. Be blessed. I'll see you back here tomorrow.